All right, so we're gonna just watch through the Progressive Victory live streams that they did for Jamal Bowman. So Vaush went to the Progressive Victory event, Progressive Victory event in New York. Support Jamal Bowman with a bunch of other freaks, such as who do we have? Who was there? God, we had the picture, didn't we? Have we got the picture? Let me check Stylo's Twitter. Let's do a little. So we've got whoever this one is. I can't remember her name. Cirrus, the fat VTuber. I don't mean these. I mean the ones on his VTuber. Riverboat Jack. This is a Taylor Lorenz defender. Bloomy Roo, the non-binary who Destiny paid for their top surgery and then got mad because they were mocking him with Mike from PA. We've got the Vaush horse porn lolly guy, or the pedophile guy. Progressive Brat X DGG lolcow was on a heme panel. There's this Chill Goblin, his name is. He's a video essayist who does gay Noah Samson type content. Nominal Naomi in this absolutely wretched site. Absolutely wretched site here. Jesus Christ. The Trilk woman who feeds an actual child male lactation. We've got Jreg here. He's like a sketch comedy politics guy on YouTube, kinda. We've got this guy who's We're in Hell. He also does like Noah Samson video essay content. Really not quite this. He's more like In Praise of Shadows. This We're in Hell guy is more like In Praise of Shadows. And he's also got, as far as I understand it, he's got rape allegations, one of his ex floating around, one of his exes. And then we've got Alec Gunter as well here. We've got Alec Gunter, the Chad, El Laureate himself. He's going to rape lyrics. And he's fucking based. The king. So with that in mind, let's get into this. We've got, on this one, we've got Vaush. Looks like Progressive Brat. Vaush. Vaush takes the cis woman. It looks like
Simpiaton super chatted $2. Noah Samson type content. That's merciless.
Thank you for the $2 simpleton. So, guys, remember to like the stream, subscribe to the channel, donate, buy a membership, gift a membership, buy a super chat if you can. And let's start watching. Let's just see how this goes.
Charm. Here, let me just... Gotcha. Let me just really quickly... Yo, it's happening. What the hell keeps happening? Folks, come on. We're getting set up over here. You're part of the help. Is this the one? Will this be the one? Chat, can you hear me? Chat, can you hear me? Chat. Chat, I'm looking at YouTube chat. YouTube chat, I'm looking at you for once. Can you hear me? How do I sound?
You can take your phone if you want.
Do I sound good? Oh, I will. Don't worry. Do I sound good? Do I sound good? All right, nice.
Okay, Bug has removed Ninetales from the chat. Okay. I will still like the stream despite being a press minority.
Just making sure. All right.
What's going on?
Third time's the charm. I don't have much direct control over the flow of the stream, so hopefully everything else works out just fine. Let me decide how I'm going to have this positioned. Maybe if I button the top button. Real professional. Like that. There we go. And that way, it clips onto the... Get. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty good, I think. I can't see myself.
Amazing. Thanks, Vaush. And is this the... Oh, yeah, here we go.
Hello, chat. Did you know it's very warm today in New York? Very warm and balmy, I gotta say. You know, I know that the American Northeast is a little swampier than any part of the West Coast. But I think I came in at a particularly balmy period because, whoo boy, where there's some like 90-degree raining the other day. There we go. That should work.
So he just stands there readjusting his cock and balls, tucking in his shirt. Just talking about, man, it's fucking swampy out here. I'm fucking sweating. Man, it's so swampy. My ass is so swampy. My cock and balls are sweating. Just like, bro, take it easy. I get it. You're airing your cock and balls out. Take it easy, bro. And yeah, he hasn't ironed his shorts. He's clearly, he's got okay dress sense. I mean, you can say he dressed like an idiot, but he's like looking relatively presentable. But he has not ironed his shorts. He's not ironed anything, I think. Has he ironed that shirt? Let's go back. Can we tell? It doesn't look particularly well ironed, but it could be that it's just wrapping around his body, I guess.
Particularly balmy period because, whoo boy, where there's some like 90-degree raining the other day. There we go. That should work. Are they whining over there in the chat?
He dresses like he looks like a zookeeper. Well, I mean, they say dress for the job you want, not the job you have. Okay.
Well, that's good to know. They seem happy. That's a first. All right. Here, let me see if I can pop my own chat up here. Having never really familiarized myself with oh, there it is. Oh my God, is that me? I better sit up straight. Okay, I'm at like a 2-second delay. I look okay, you know? You can't see my snatched waist because I have it buttoned up, but that's okay. That's fine. I think your fly might be open. That's highly unlikely. And not true, I say, surprised, fully expecting it to have been the case. Well, I'm used to talking directly into a microphone. Last thing I'll check, and then I'm going to set my phone down, at least for a bit. Can you all hear me all right, even when my head's up like this? Right now, you can hear me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you got that? You got that, chat? Yeah, you got that fine? Sweet. All right, we're set. Hello, folks. We're here in Yonkers, New York. I put on my only outdoor clothes, you know, standing up to the summer heat. And I don't know which camera's on, so I'm just kind of talk wherever I want. And we're out here in a beautiful, I'm told, Lutheran church congregational setup that seems to have been rented for the purpose of housing the billions of canvassers that we got on over here. I've already seen lots of folks.
Why does he keep doing the fucking plantation voice? Why does he keep doing his fucking retarded fake southern accent? Vaush, you're from California. You're from fucking Beverly. He's from Beverly Hills, is he not? You're not from the South. Why do you keep slipping into the southern drawl?
Old Lutheran church congregational setup that seems to have been rented for the purpose of housing the billions.
Yeah, it just seems like it's because he said it was a Lutheran church, and now he's like, oh yeah, I guess I'll do the plantation voice.
Beautiful. I'm told Lutheran church congregational setup that seems to have been rented for the purpose of housing the billions of canvassers that we got on over here. I've already seen... We got
on over here. You've never said that before in your life, Vaush. Why are you saying it now? Why are you saying it now? Fuck. The one time I didn't want to search for Lauren Southern. Fuck.
Still the capital, Virginia. Yes.
I think
my point here ain't about criticizing your vote. It's that only 2 people were going to be president, and there are only 2 real paths to FBI.
No. But those are 2 different. But...
Yeah, it's a Lutheran church, so yeah.
actually politically represent my interests.
I'm not. My point here ain't about criticizing your vote. So that only
My
two
point
people
here
are going
ain't
to be
about
president,
criticizing
and there
your
are
vote.
only
Right, but-
two real paths to FBI.
No. But those are two different. But
So fucking good, man. And he's doing it here too.
A church congregational setup that seems to have been rented for the purpose of housing the billions of canvassers that we got on over here. I've already seen lots of folks, and yes, I know you're curious. Who have I seen? Well, I don't want to name names, but I saw Sake Tanuki. That's right, motherfucker exists in real life. I'm not joking. Nice guy, had a nice hat. There's a lot of people here, really. I'm not out there doing canvassing. You can't see it. I know where the cameras are focused in on. You've got this beautiful city drop. Over there's water bottles. There's a bunch of boxed meals. Real cute. And as we speak, millions of progressive victory canvassers are running out there mad on the streets, storming down people's houses or whatever it is canvassers do. I gotta say, it's real exciting. You know, I always get amped up whenever I come to events like this. Not that I've been to an event like this, you know, but events, right? Not only because it's the only time I get vitamin D and wouldn't otherwise, but also because it's a nice.
Is he doing it again there?
Storming down people's houses or whatever it is canvassers do. I gotta say, it's real exciting. You know, I always get amped up whenever I come to events like this. Not that I've been to an event like this, you know, but events, right? Not only because it's the only time I get vitamin D and wouldn't otherwise, but also because it's a nice reminder that stuff online translates into real life, you know, in so far as people's interest and the willingness to get involved and change things. And it's nice to see that enthusiasm carried over. See, me, you know, I've been streaming for 5 years, basically the hardest job anyone's ever done. I mean,
He's like got such. The mannerisms are kind of irritating me.
Astronauts, nothing in comparison. And
very flamboyant.
you know, you've seen it all. You get a smidge jaded, and then you go outside and you see there are lots of folks who have the energy and enthusiasm that you briefly had when you were young and 28 and not old and 30. And it's just nice, you know. It always makes me feel good. I feel good in spite of the heat. And I gotta say, folks, it is really muggy. Like, I'm not overselling that. I mean, comedic overstatement, something I enjoy. You're all aware of this. I am like actively concerned about looking very sweaty right now because
So what is this guy yapping about? Get to it.
humidity has been pushed to its limit. If you can't see me very well, it's because a thin film of water has saturated the air between the camera lens and my person. It's rough out here, you know. Hence it's fine linen, by the way, in case you were wondering. Buck Mason, thank you. They don't pay me. They don't pay me to say the truth. I do that for free, baby. Really though. For the event here, I'm the primary host, it seems, of the community live stream. Both a celebration of what we're doing at the moment and a sort of log that we can refer to into the future because, like I said, we just sent the canvassers out. You know, like the room is only freshly emptied of them, and before they get back here for lunch, you know, we have to use the space for something. We wouldn't want to be wasteful. Now, at points, folks are going to come on, but in the meantime, I love yapping. And to be honest, yapping is waking me up a little bit. I woke up at what was, to my perception, 4 a.m. because I had to get up at 7 a.m. and it's the East Coast, but I'm used to the West Coast, so that's 4 a.m. for me. I felt, you know, fully dead, and I had to get up early because obviously a significant portion of my wake-up time was getting up and the we got from the debate.
How long do they let Bro go for?
Feel like real people to me in the sense that they're a little bit quirky, they're a little quirked up, and you know, as a white guy, I care for that. It's, you know, sort of my aesthetic. You don't get that sort of like stodgy.
Sorry, no, we'll listen to this whole rant. Fuck it, actually. No, whatever. Fine. This is the content, actually. Fuck it.
I think that you know, no amount of money can like truly overwhelm on the ground popular support. And the fact that Latimer, by the way, has been like eating his own foot every day probably isn't working to his benefit. I mean, the man, I think it was literally just yesterday that he was doing an interview and he said that it was something along the lines of like, Bowman has an ethnic advantage. Fully did the Mitt Romney, Barack Obama, like he's got the skin tone to win kind of thing, you know, like the bitter white guy, like I can't believe how easy it is to be a black man in America. Can you believe it? Bit. That was just yesterday, you know, really confirming some of the vibes we got from the debate that we watched between him and Bowman. Just Latimer is like an old school racist, I feel, you know, and I'm not in Britain. Yeah, I can say that. I'm allowed legally in America. I can say that I think he's racist. You know, they can't take that from me. I do believe it with my heart of hearts. Boy, not being able to see chat's very disarming. You know, who knows what you guys
just start calling the opponent racist? Cool.
guys are on about. You know, oh, your fly is down.
And not even not even citing anything specific. Just saying, oh, he said that there's a ethnic advantage in this race. Okay.
I'm being told that you're talking a lot about my legs. Now, there's nothing I can do about that, frankly. I wore shorts, and, am I saying that I'm asking for it? No, that's horrible, regressive logic. Now, I do think I have nice...
What are these progressive victory events, man? Why is there always a rape joke? Why can they not?
Legs, and I appreciate you focusing on a feature of me that I'm proud of. I would encourage you to also think about the, Bowman and Latimer primary race and everything that it signifies about the ability for PACs to influence the environment in which we, live by buying candidates, which is exactly what is happening here, by the way. Latimer is completely ephemeral, right? I don't believe this guy believes anything, or maybe he believes that he deserves to, I don't know, be buried with the entombed organs of his servants when he dies. I mean, maybe he cares about money. I don't know. Totally inauthentic guy. This is one of the things that I like about the Justice Dems broadly, and something that I think is not underreported on maybe, but underappreciated, The Justice Dems like Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib AOC, Jamal Bowman feel like real people to me in the sense that they're a little bit quirky, they're a little quirked up, and as a white guy I care for that. It's sort of my aesthetic. You don't get not underreported on maybe, but underappreciated. The Justice Dems like Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib AOC, Jamal Bowman feel like real people to me in the sense that they're a little bit quirky, they're a little quirked up, and as a white guy I care for that. It's sort of my aesthetic. You don't get that sort of stodgy, stiff-necked, starched-collared, corporate, professional politician vibe that you get from, say, Latimer or a lot of other folks. It's just it's very unnerving, I think, sometimes, the feeling that no one
Have ethnic. So is he not just describing the same thing that this Latimer guy just said? The idea of an ethnic advantage? Is that not basically what Vaush just said? Oh yeah, they're kind of brown and rough around the edges. They're like old white people. That feels like basically what he just described, but in other words, that he was just crying about this Latimer guy doing. They're a little bit quirky. They got swag. Oh, man.
one actually cares. Bowman cares. Bowman's done a lot for this district. When we got at the hotel the other day, Sam turned the radio on and it played the final few seconds of a Bowman ad, and it was just like a little coincidental bit of timing, right? Like turn it on, blip, little noise, it plays the blurb. It was good. I liked it. It was very cinematic, like it would happen out of a movie. It was non-representative because apparently Latimer has been absolutely dumping TV and radio ads in this district. I mean, like you turn the television on, you get 3 minutes of Scooby-Doo, and then it's 27 minutes of Latimer telling you that, I don't know, Hamas, ISIS will come for us next if they're not stopped in Gaza. It's the money divide, It's money versus heart, personally. Sure, Bowman has a healthily proportioned large heart. I don't know about Latimer. I wouldn't take any guesses. I couldn't say. I'm in a fugue state right now. I have no idea what I just said. I'm apparently going to get coffee soon, which I really should have arranged that for myself. But one thing they don't tell you about being a live streamer is that it really stunts your sort of maturity.
What are we doing here? What the fuck is this stream? This is supposed to be you campaigning for Jamal Bowman, Vaush. Not you talking about your stunted development as a result of using the internet too much.
Bowman has a healthily proportioned large heart. I don't know about Latimer. I wouldn't take any guesses. I couldn't say. I'm in a fugue state right now. I have no idea what I just said. I'm apparently going to get coffee soon, which you know.
So he's just Blood is just talking, just stream of consciousness monologuing, hoping for the best. A canvassing event. It's so over. It's so over.
I really should have arranged that for myself. But one thing they don't tell you about being a live streamer is that it really stunts your sort of maturity.
Yeah.
You know, vis-a-vis like the ability to do long-term planning. You can't actually, is this real chat, everything in real life, and get like a cohesive feedback that corrects the situation. You know, I wake up and I think, oh, I'm thirsty. I could go for some coffee. I would love some.
That's Vaush's research process, by the way. Is this real chat?
Caffeine right now. I can't just whine about it to chat and then have that like happen. You're all probably familiar with this. A lot of you have real jobs, but you know, it's difficult for me out here for the divas. Hopefully you're sympathetic. It is really cool in here, I have to say. I don't know if you can see, I don't think the cameras cover it, but there's this set, right? But then behind it, there's something that looks like a big, almost like, it's not Art Deco. I defer to that word in lieu of anything else. You know, it's vaguely futurist, maybe. I want to say Italian futurism, but maybe without like the Mussoliniite fascistic connotations. It's shiny, is what I mean to say. Pipe organ, over back yonder.
Oh, yeah.
And the back wall.
You couldn't remember what a pipe organ was. Okay, whatever, man.
Like the wall against which you would do the sermons, the Lutherans. It's a big brick wall, but the outer rim of it, like the edges where the walls connect with their adjacent walls, and the trim right before the ceiling is stained glass. Does that sound odd to you? It looks odd, but I like it. I haven't seen that before. You know, it's very much not a load-bearing brick wall then.
This guy is he is just an alien, isn't he? He's a complete alien.
If it's surrounded by glass at every end. But you know, most brick walls aren't load-bearing. In fact, the traditional method for building row houses, I believe, in some parts of the northeastern United States, the two facing brick walls, the ones in the front and the back of the house, weren't load-bearing.
What are you talking about? What are you going on about, bro?
For building row houses, I believe, in some parts of the northeastern United States, the two facing brick walls, the ones in the front and the back of the house, weren't load-bearing. They were actually completely ornamental. Like you could knock them down and the house would be completely fine, though the wind would blow through and you know it'd be uncomfortable, I guess, for the neighbors. But yeah, no, brick, just very pretty. People like using it for stuff, as it turns out.
That's the conclusion to that thought. But yeah, brick, very pretty. People like using it for stuff.
Jamal Bowman will bring.
You ever seen a brick building, guys? You ever seen brick used in building? You ever seen that, guys? Pretty common, huh? Pretty common, huh? People must like it a lot.
Brick back to New York District 16 is what I'm saying, basically. You know, Latimer, he's not a brick guy, more of a like carved plaster, sort of a stucco guy. Maybe on a good day a concrete guy, but for the most part, I'm thinking plaster. I'm thinking, you know, like those molded plaster outward facing like facades to the apartment blocks that you've seen in every American city in the past 15 years. I think that's Latimer's deal. Bowman will bring brick back. And that's why you should vote for him. If you're in New York District 16, that's the only place you could vote for him. It is very warm in here. Yeah. I'm not the only person here. I'm just being a diva right now. Here, let me move this out of the way. Clip on, you got to use some force.
Wait, you're actually right.
Yeah. You gotta like pry it open.
Okay.
Here, wait, hold on. I'll take the moment's pause to check to see how hard Chad is complaining.
Yo, welcome in Lyrics Raiders. We are just watching Vaush at the Progressive Victory event live stream for Jamal Bowman in New York. He's been going on a 15-minute monologue about how streaming has stunted his mental and emotional development, how he's a man-child, how he likes buildings that are made out of bricks. He just loves seeing buildings that are made out of bricks, because bricks are great building material. It's very pretty. So yeah, that's been the topic so far. Also, it's swampy. Yeah. Also, it's apparently swampy. Been readjusting his shorts a lot.
You know, I gotta keep appraised of the situation. Chat, YouTube chat specifically, for this one time you're prioritized. How you doing? Chat, is this real? And by this I mean you. Hello.
Hello.
Chat says
the
this
chat
is real.
was being brutal. I'm not even gonna lie to you. They were like, Vaush is interviewing Vaush. I'm not gonna lie, that kind of made me laugh.
Yeah, sitting opposite the empty chair, I think.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
I've gone crazy. The building's empty. Oh, please introduce yourself.
Oh, which camera am I
this is Progressive Brat. Okay. If you don't know Progressive Brat, he was in a very popular Destiny video many years ago.
I'm not going to have you as a man try to question my intelligence on this case. We're not about to do that. I said my opinion, so I don't know why you only pointed me out of everyone else in this panel. It's kind of interesting that you did that, but I'm going to let you do that because I'm not going to answer that.
Just as a super quick thing, and then I'll shut up. We are all here to justify our thoughts. That's why we're on a panel. You don't go to a panel to talk about politics. I'm not going to explain myself to you. Then why are you on the panel? Your video titled me literally call me a fascist. You guys are actually delusional. It depends on who the aggressor is. That's going to be the answer every single time.
Oh, so it depends.
It depends. Yeah, well,
that's all you to know.
I don't know. Either my mic is cutting out. Either my mic is cutting out, or your ears are not working. So let me say this one more time. If you are
okay.
So yeah, you get the point. And she got mocked pretty broadly for that.
Okay, hello guys. My name is Ariana Jasmine. I go by Ariana Jasmine on Twitch. I've gone live with Vaush a couple of times, but I'm a little bigger on TikTok and Instagram.
Why did you two give me an AI summary of what you were talking about, saying it was just Vaush talking about bricks? Because that's what's been happening. Because that's what we've been watching.
Instagram, I've been focusing
He's
a lot
saying
on
he loves buildings that are made out of brick, and that Jamal Bowman is going to bring brick back.
Middle East recently, but I do talk about everything progressive politics, so thank you for having me.
Oh God, absolutely.
Yeah, it's so nice to meet IRL too.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it's rare we get the opportunity, especially since I don't go to TwitchCon. Wait, do you go to TwitchCon?
No.
Okay, yeah. No, who would go to TwitchCon? That's losers over there.
I'm a little too cool for that. I'm just kidding.
No, you're not kidding.
No.
Yeah, it's genuinely rare to get the opportunity. I mean, it's election season, of course, and I'm really happy that PV's provided the opportunity for us to get out here and touch grass.
Don't smile, Dean super chatted $5. Please, say brick more.
Thank you for the $5, Dean.
But I don't know how to publicize this, so maybe I shouldn't front it, but you did some wacky grass touching yourself recently, no?
What are you talking about?
When your little excursion over to your little up and about, is that like known?
What?
I can't tell if you're like baiting me or you're.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
You went to Qatar.
Yeah, no, everyone knows.
Oh, okay. I'm like sweating over here.
Oh my God. Ninetails is on Twitter. At Kuihman, why would you mod someone so fragile like Bug Squanderer? Okay, retard.
I don't know if you're giving me like no.
I didn't know what you were talking about.
Okay, well you told me that while we were driving, and it was the coolest like little excursion over to your little up and about. Is that like known?
What?
I can't tell if you're like baiting me or you're.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
You went to Qatar.
No, everyone knows.
Oh, okay.
Simpiaton super chatted $2. Progressive Brat is supplying Vaush with bricks.
Thank you for the $2. Well, no, it's not. It's not about decoding a riddle. What's happening is he doesn't know if she wants people to know that she went to Qatar, because doesn't Qatar still allow human slavery and shit? Like, isn't Qatar one of those countries where there's a bunch of fucking human rights violations? So there's often a lot of pressure and backlash against influencers who go to Qatar or Saudi Arabia or whatever, and basically run cover for them.
Sweating over here. I don't know if you're giving me like no.
I didn't know what you were talking about.
Okay, well, you told me that while we were driving, and it was the coolest thing that I've ever heard. So
cool.
if you could please share.
Yeah,
I don't want to give a shitty secondhand version of it.
Of course, no, you're fine. So there's a girl, she's dubbed the youngest journalist in Gaza. Well, she was. Her name is Lama Jamous. And she basically just kind of took a camera and a microphone and she started speaking into it, and she did journalism, and it was really cool. And her father reached out to my content creator friend and was like, we need to get out of Gaza because they were stuck in Gaza. They had no way out. And my friend and I, we fundraised about $100,000 for them. And we evacuated her 3 siblings, her grandmother, her father, and her mom. And it was an insane 4 months. We were like going back and forth. There were moments where we thought it couldn't happen. There was a moment where the father had to stay back in Gaza, and the family, we had to smuggle the family through before we could smuggle the father. And that was...
Why do I just have so much skepticism and immediate, like, just... Like, immediately gives me that vibe of, like, you know, when... You know, there's, like, this trope of like, the black mother who's like, my boy's a genius. He read 1,000 books this year. You know that. It's I'm immediately getting like that vibe. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm talking about there? What is this? Let's see. Wait, some people get it, some people don't. There's like this trope of like this black mother who will spin up like insane achievements for of their kid to make it seem like they've got like a genius wonder child, and then sometimes it will get like picked up by like local news or like a teacher or something. They'll give the kid an award or whatever and say like, oh, this kid read 1,000 books this year. Anyway, let's watch this.
طلع شهداء وإصابات. أنا حبيت أعمل مقابلات عشان أوصل صوت وصورة للعالم كله.
Subtitled, really? Learn English.
حلمي إنه أكون صحفية صغيرة عشان أوصل صوت أطفال فلسطين للعالم، والعالم يسمع صوتهم بالتعذيب بالأكل بالشرب، وإحنا نفسنا إنه إيش توقف الحرب ونرجع ناخذ حريتنا من أول. الخير علينا. مرحبا جماعة كيفكم؟ نهنئ العام الجديد 2014. مرحبا جماعة كيفكم؟ كان معنا أحمد.
Whoa, shows dead body and injury. Chill. Don't do that. I don't. What am I meant to get from this? What? So it's like some kid with a social media presence? Like, does she actually do any of it? Or, I mean, she can't. She's a fucking 9-year-old. She's just like the face for it, right? Okay.
It's also like a huge contention point within the family. Like, we had to separate them for a couple of weeks. It was a lot. And so recently I flew out to Qatar. Well, Qatar was my like my midpoint, but I flew out to Cairo to go meet them for the first time. And we were initially very excited to see them, but once we got there, we realized that it was actually like not a very happy moment, because they basically had gotten a place to stay at And the father told us, and he was like, yeah, I'm not planning to stay here long because we're going to go back to Gaza. And none of us had the heart to tell.
Simpiaton super chatted $5. Brown Greta Thunberg is reporting on the brick supply chain.
Thank you for the $5 something. Thank you.
Them like, you're not gonna go back. You know what I mean? So it was tough. It was like you could see the pain. Like they had very visibly like physically lost weight. It was tough, but I'm happy we were able to get them out.
Jesus, that's genuinely insane.
Yeah.
What the father said, it reminds me, I saw these photos once of, there were Palestinians who, after being exiled during the Nakba, they still have like the old-timey house keys that they say like, I will go back there once. I mean, their houses probably don't exist anymore. Like symbolically they'll return.
It's so sad.
Incredibly tenacious, I have to say. Very sad, but I'm glad they made it out.
I'm very glad too. They're not necessarily happy about it, but I think in the long run they will see the value in, I mean, not the value, I guess, for lack of better terms, you know.
The value in not getting mulched by a
exactly. I mean, they're considered to be one of the lucky ones. Yesterday alone, there was the Al-Mawazi massacre where 25 people were killed, 50 people were wounded in a area right by where Red Cross had set up camp. And they told these people to go there to refuge because they told them it was a safe zone, and it wasn't. They had multiple airstrikes. This was yesterday while we were coming to this event. And it's the Flower Massacre, the Mawazi Massacre. You know, the healthcare system is completely plummeting. And I kind of want to take this back to Jamal Bowman. Like, I don't think there's any perfect politician in American politics. Like, I can point at any politician and say, yeah, that person has done something that I don't like. But when I genuinely look at Jamal Bowman, I'm like, okay, this man has, for the most part, really been based as fuck in a lot of his like viewpoints. You know what I mean? He is pro-Palestine. He is pro-taxing billionaires. He is for the climate change bill, like the climate catastrophe bill. I forgot what he calls it exactly. But, you know, it's so important to keep federal politicians like that in place, in my opinion, because there's so little few of them. There's like, what, 18 progressives right now?
God, and even then, like fair weather sometimes. It's unfortunate because I think we're always more inclined to be critical of people adjacent to us, so we nitpick at details when it comes to people like Jamal Bowman or anyone else. Like I've done this as well. I've complained about AOC or Ilhan Omar or whatever, but then you look at like anybody else in the space, and they're all these shiftless corporate ghouls who get like paid into their office. They're going to be like a lobbyist when they retire from Congress, you know, and I mean, it's not just a difference of policy or character. There's like a fundamental difference between people who get in because they believe in something and people who get in because the material forces of capital and power accumulation just push them up there, and they sit there and then they.
Okay. Wow. The material forces of a capital and asset accumulation push them there, and they can never come back down. Yeah. Okay, man. Sick lefty analysis. Thanks, Vaush. I don't care.
Yeah, it's really and it's really sad because I think people like you and I knew the scope of what lobbying was like in American politics, but I think the average American didn't really know, or didn't know to what extent, because I'm surprised people are talking about. I feel like I'm talking a lot. I can hear myself echoing.
It does echo a lot. I mean, as long as the mic is
we can literally hear ourselves like echo into like.
It's like the feedback headphones.
Yeah, I know. You have to like ignore it. But what was I talking about? What was I saying?
About Americans and lobbying.
Yeah. So like for example, AIPAC was. There's a book called the Israel Lobby, or yes, I believe it's the Israel Lobby. I read it when I was like in middle school, and I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. But I'm glad that the average American is finally waking up to the fact that lobby money really.
Bro, you know this bitch is insane. You know she's insane.
Controls a lot of our politicians. It's just how our politics works. It's how it rotates.
It reminds me, there's I don't know if one would call it a meme, but the idea of like we have corruption in America, we just call it lobbying. And I think there's like a bell curve on this, because at first I think when you're like a juvenile idiot, you think like, yeah man, fuck the system. And then you get a little smarter and you think, no, lobbying and corruption are completely different actually. And then you get a little smarter, it's like, wait, no, actually they really do serve the exact same social function. It's just the extent to which it's normalized and how you apply it.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, for one,
when I was in middle school, I was reading books about the Israel lobby. Why? What? You don't have the context to understand that.
Corruption is usually not that transparent, though sometimes it is. In some countries, like it's pretty obvious what's happening. Lobbying is rarely transparent. I mean, we've Citizens United, for example, as an example of like a very recent effort to obfuscate the relationship of money in political affairs and where it comes from and what has to be disclosed. And when you look at all of it in aggregate, I don't like the conspiratorial mindset. I don't like looking at this. I don't like looking at it like but I think it's not conspiratorial to say like concretely, right? You go at this from a Marxist perspective, right? The interests of the capital class are made manifest in this system, and what's happening right now in New York 16 is just the most naked example of it I've basically ever seen. It's like, this is literally like the most clear cut, we need to get rid of this guy. Like, pour $1 billion into the Latimer.
Yeah, 16 million. What is it up to now, 20 million?
I think it's...
So that's what I love about all these people, especially pro-Palestine people. You'll hear them talk and they're like, Why don't you read a book on this stuff? Right. Then you ask them what books they've read. It's like, well, I read The Israel Lobby, fucking the complete works of David Icke, yeah, the Hamas Charter. So, okay, so you haven't actually got a comprehensive knowledge of this issue. You've read a bunch of books that seemed like they already aligned with the narrative that you decided you wanted to buy into. Just like you bragging that you've read books kind of means fucking nothing, because you're not actually displaying any holistic understanding of the issue.
It's 20 million now.
I think it's 20 million now.
Primary ever.
It was 16 million a couple days ago. I think we're talking about 16 million. I mean, can you just imagine what that type of money could do for New Yorkers alone? 16 million just poured into the communities and like public schools and food banks and stuff like that. It's just wild.
It's insane because it's also, you know, people. I think sometimes people think like, okay, 60 million is a lot, but like Elon Musk is worth 200 billion. So where's the like? Why doesn't he just give $1 billion or whatever, right? And what a lot of people don't understand, the way money gets tied up in politics and PACs is that like money that goes into a PAC is like raw money. It's not investment. It's not like shares or bonds or dividends or a portion of ownership of anything. It's just raw money thrown into the void. And in a lot of cases, like there's a reason this is the most expensive house price ever, right? Like fronting this kind of money usually is insane because a lot of the money that gets spent isn't even on the front end like this. It's like back end. If this happens, then my company will do business here, or like we'll open a new franchise in this location. It's usually like, I don't want to say it's corruption, but it's you know, wheeling and dealing, right? It's not normally this blatant. And I think a lot of that honestly is because since this is being funded through APAC, there's not as much that can be done with New York 16 and like we'll open like a defense contractor weapons manufacturing plant here. Like, there's not as much
you
of like,
can't really hide it as well.
Yeah, you can't wheel and deal. So it's like, yeah, fuck it, $1 billion, $10 billion, go for it.
It's just wild. And like also, can you imagine if in like chat, I want you guys to, this is so, I haven't like, I've never streamed without reading chat, so I feel like they're probably flaming the shit out of us right now. I know, it's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about, but please be nice. I'm just kidding. But can you just imagine what it would be like if it was, for example, like Afghanistan? Like APAC was like ran by not ran by, but had the political interest of a Muslim majority country.
Oh, well, I mean, the closest you would get
is like Sharia laws taking over America.
The closest you would get would be like Saudi Arabia, but even then, American politicians are ashamed of Saudi Arabia. They just don't talk about it.
They don't talk about it.
They just try to like, you know, like let's not talk about it. With Israel, you know, it's all loud and proud. I mean, like Latimer, I guess, being the evident and immediate example, but then you have people like Ryan Mast, you know, the vet with the
Boots, you actually can't be convicted for being a pedophile.
Legs, you know,
he was the one that was wearing the IDF uniform.
Yes, yeah, that fake IDF uniform. Bought it off Alibaba, whatever. Psycho. He was talking about killing them all, and no one talks that way for Saudi Arabia. There's just not that
they don't. You know, the PR on Saudi Arabia is actually insane because Saudi Arabia is like not this. I mean, I don't want to fearmonger, but like as a Middle Eastern woman myself, like would I go to Saudi Arabia and just like do stuff on my own? Probably not. But like they've done so much PR around Saudi Arabia that most people don't even know about like the realities that Saudi Arabia actually like holds.
Like the slave caste. Yeah. Oh my God. I remember when I flew. I did a vacation to Barcelona recently, and I saw in every airport that I went to outside of America. So, and I didn't see it in Seattle or Minneapolis, but in Frankfurt and Munich and the Barcelona airport, fly Emirates, the Air Emirates airline. And it kills me too because it's straight out of the 50s. Like the photo, it's like this really handsome, almost like Soviet propaganda, like really handsome white man and white woman, you know, dressed in like tailored like 50s clothing or whatever. And it's like you are selling the fantasy of like a wealthy French family going to Beirut you know, before the.
It's crazy. I literally went to so crazy story. I know we're getting off topic, but when I was born and raised in America, but in 8th grade I lived in Iran for a year because my parents had this amazing idea that it would be great for me to see Iran. Easily the worst year of my life. But coming back from there, we spent 2 weeks in Dubai, and like my dad, like we were broke. Okay, like I'm not talking about like the nice.
Wait, no, you weren't. I went and lived in Iran for a year, but we were broke. No, you weren't.
Yeah,
before the.
It's crazy. I literally went to so crazy story. I know we're getting off topic, but when I was born and raised in America, but in 8th grade I lived in Iran for a year.
Born and raised in America, but in 8th grade I lived in Iran for a year. No, you weren't broke. No, you weren't. You're a liar. You just know.
Because my parents had this amazing idea that it would be great for me to see Iran. Easily the worst year of my life. But coming back from there, we spent 2 weeks in Dubai, and like my dad, like we were broke. Okay, like I'm not talking about like the nice excursions, like Dubai excursions. Like we were kind of in a sketchy ass neighborhood.
Yo, sorry guys, you can't see this right now, but in a moment you will.
But like it was a little weird, you know. And it was like 3 a.m. and I told my dad, I was like, hey, I'm really hungry. So he was like, okay, let's walk to KFC. And I will never forget it. Like this image of Dubai that they sell you is a farce because we were walking through the street, and it's like, first of all, indentured servitude everywhere. All of Dubai was literally created by like modern day slavery. All of Qatar was made by modern day slavery.
They all live in the outskirts and like slums.
Real talk with Ricky Pacqua in the chat. Let's freaking go.
They all live in the outskirts, and what they do is they go to like countries like India, and they're like, hey, if you come to our country and you help build our country for 5 years, we'll give you permanent citizenship and you'll get paid and all that. So they sign these papers. They don't ever give them like the citizenship or anything. So they illegally come to Dubai. They're working. They never get paid. They never get their papers. A lot of them die on the job because we're talking about Middle Eastern desert heat, and they're working like these insane construction, like intensive jobs.
In Qatar, a ton of people died during the construction of the World Cup. Like
the World Cup was a disaster in that sense, where they built 7 stadiums.
Yeah, because all their like the oil funds. You know, it's just crazy that we have space satellites, and slavery is still the most economically viable way of getting stuff built in the desert.
It's crazy. Also, like I'm sorry, I'm a Dubai hater. I'm a certified Dubai Emirates hater, okay? But the infrastructure in Dubai is so bad. So you know the palm that they've created? It's like a palm.
Oh, the artificial.
Yes, the artificial palm. So what they did is they took sand from the bottom of the ocean. They piled it on top of each other so much until it created this palm. But since it's ocean sand, it's sinking. So every year it sinks a couple of inches more and more. And they don't know how to fix it.
It's on a fucking island. It's sand.
It's almost like Israel is the best country in the region.
Piled sand from the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah,
And,
it's almost like that, isn't it?
Of course that was going to go bad.
That's how they built the dock outside Gaza.
Are you serious?
No.
Oh,
It broke.
oh my God, the dock, we can talk about that too.
Well,
That's crazy.
there is a parallel too, like directly with the labor stuff, because Palestinians in Gaza are also given like vouchers to do work in Israel, usually for lower pay.
Yes, that's true. That's true. A lot of the Zayu influencers that are in like on Twitter and stuff like that or TikTok, they're like, oh, Palestinians are really happy. My Uber driver in Israel was a Palestinian, and he was happy to drive me to my destination. I'm like, yeah, bitch, what the fuck is you guys would probably like attack him if he didn't want to drive you. What are you talking about? Palestinians are literally treated like subhuman in Israel, and they like to create this narrative that they're happy and they're just a part of the civilization, which is not true. Also, not to mention that Ethiopian refugees in Israel were getting sterilized for a while without. A lot of the Zayu influencers that are in like on Twitter and stuff like that or TikTok, they're like, oh, Palestinians are really happy. My Uber driver in Israel was a Palestinian, and he was happy to drive me to my destination. I'm like, yeah, bitch, what the fuck is you guys would probably like attack him if he didn't want to drive you. What are you talking about? Palestinians are literally treated like subhuman in Israel, and they like to create this narrative. My Uber driver in Israel was a Palestinian, and he was happy to drive me to my destination. I'm like, yeah, bitch, what the fuck is you guys would probably like attack him if he didn't want to.
You guys would attack him. Some influencer would attack their Uber driver. Okay.
Drive you. What are you talking about? Palestinians are literally treated like subhuman in Israel, and they like to create this narrative that they're happy and they're just a part of the civilization, which is not true. Also, not to mention that Ethiopian refugees in Israel were getting sterilized for a while without them even knowing they were getting sterilized.
The wild thing to me, I guess, is just because Israel has suffered, I think, from like a dual propaganda mission, where there are people in Israel who really hate Palestinians and really want a greater Israel, so you have to kind of fire them up for that. But over in America, there are a lot of like well-intentioned anti-racist liberals who are pro-Israel because it's framed to them as like a liberatory thing. So it's difficult to make any propaganda that appeals to both groups, and you get these weird blurring moments where I don't know if you saw the specific Twitter post because it got flamed a lot, but it was some Israeli saying like no apartheid here, and it was a selfie of him at a beach or whatever.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you get these failures of communication where it's like, bro, you are out of the 1950s in America. You could say any of this shit during Jim Crow, and you would be landing the same beats.
Sorry, I didn't mean to pick up.
No. It's just crazy to me, I guess.
Can you just imagine if I took my phone, because we're in New York right now, right? What if I took my phone and we went to the projects, and I'm like, there's no projects here, and we're like walking through the
systemic racism. My Uber driver.
My Uber driver was X, Y, and Z that drove me here. Where are the projects? Everyone here is living really nicely, and they all seemingly have houses and stuff like that. No, it's just so stupid.
Well, I don't think it would count as the projects, but in terms of like structured housing.
I mean, are people really saying that Israel's like perfect? I feel like everyone knows that Ethiopian Jews get like have had like a super rough fucking history in Israel. I thought that is like one of the most common anti-Israel talking points. One of the most common things I hear as critical of Israel as like an internal, regardless of its foreign policy, but as an internal domestic issue, the treatment of Ethiopian Jews is like one of the top ones. Everyone knows this.
The Co-op City was pretty cool.
Oh my God, yeah, Chad, do you guys know about Co-op City?
Why didn't you tell me? I didn't know about this.
I didn't know about Co-op City either. Should we explain what Co-op City is?
We were driving down the freeway, and I just saw like the skyline of these. They looked like commie blocks to me, like big Soviet housing blocks. And I asked about them, and I guess like since the 70s, it's just been an effort to like, I don't know if it was cooperative initially or if it got bought out and like partitioned at some point, but now it's like collectively owned by the people who live there. It's like a mini community. It's affordable. It looked really cute.
It was so cute. It was so. I believe it was. It turned into like a city initiative when New York in the 70s. That's what I read on Wikipedia. Don't quote me on this, okay?
Better than my knowledge. Yeah. It's Wikipedia me on.
Yeah, no, you're fine. But it was so cool because it's like it's a block of apartments, right? But they have schools like middle school, grade school, high school. They have doctors, dentist offices, offices, grocery stores. It's like a whole little community. I believe was it outside the Bronx or inside the Bronx or outskirts? I think it was like outskirts.
Just on the outskirts?
Just
Chat, you can Google it, chat. You're literally at a computer right now. You can look at it. It's really cool looking.
Y'all do it. I feel crippled. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I'm missing something without being able to read.
No,
the chat.
we are. We're a DJ who's like directing other people to move the switches from the other side of a wall.
Oh my god.
It's unnerving.
Yeah, they were talking a lot about your legs, though. I will say, they were like, "Oh my god, Vaush has legs."
I think that I don't go outside much. I think that the symbol we were given a second ago was that we have to wrap it up.
Oh yes, they did give us the wrap-up signal. Yeah, they're about to boot
That's me sort of peering behind the curtain there and showing off. Genuinely, like, it's been a delight to meet you.
Oh my god, yeah, of course. I mean, we've been mutuals for a while now, but it's so nice to actually meet you in person, and it's been a pleasure being on your stream. I hope they didn't flame us.
I'm sure they've been lovely. You're here for the full thing, right? Lunch, dinner tomorrow, the campus. Okay, good.
I'll
Then
be
I'll
here. Yeah. You'll see me, and all right, chat. It was nice meeting you guys. My name's Ari. Huh? Oh, okay, Ariana Jasmine on everything. So Ariana and then Jasmine, Jasmine. I know it's basic, but I'm Middle Eastern, and I kind of wanted to play on to the Princess Jasmine thing. Honestly, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, but it's been working, so.
I'm white and like 1/4 Irish, and my first online handle was Irish Laddie, so trust me, there are worse.
No, are you serious?
I'm completely serious. They gave me they asked me to make an email in like 2nd grade computer class, and I stuck with that for way too long.
Well, yours is better. My first email, no, my first email was based on Twilight, so it can't get worse than that.
Twilight's back in vogue now. We're hitting the like.
Really?
Yeah, we're hitting the nostalgia bump. You know.
Oh my god.
Contra did a video defending it.
Yeah.
I think it's back in. You're in.
Huh. Okay.
Gonna dust off the old email handle.
Okay. Well, they're telling me to fuck off now. Okay. It was so nice being here.
Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you so
see
much.
you constantly.
You're both fucking up.
Bye.
5-minute break.
5-minute break. Okay.
Wow.
Shot nice.
Let's skip the break. Actually, let's see if there's anything embarrassing Vaush does in the last few seconds there.
Yeah, we're hitting. It's back.
Bye.
5-minute break.
5-minute break. Okay.
Was the shot nice?
That was nice. All right.
Yeah. You did a great job.
Really like vertical ribbing.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hot mics live?
5 or 6 people.
Okay, so hold on. All right, shape up, everyone. Important. So, this Bowman guy who I'm hearing about now, reading a pamphlet that I've been given, apparently he's good. They say that he worked with President Biden to ban ghost guns, and this is an issue to me personally, because in Time Splitters 3, classic, by the way, you should play it, you're hounded by ghosts in one mission, and when you go underground, under the haunted lab, and then you can't fight the ghost, but then you circle around and you get the ghost gun, and then you can fight them.
Have you considered the Ghostbusters? That would ruin their gun situation.
Exactly. Like, what are they supposed to do then? You know, disarm the police?
We're gonna have a lot more ghosts. Keep going.
I don't think we can tie this back to illegals or Hamas somehow. I'm sure. It's nice. Anyway, soon we're going to be commenting, I believe, on the Bowman-Latimer debate, the second one.
Yeah,
the one that just, I covered the first one, and honestly, I'm biased going into it.
Yeah.
I think Bowman killed it. I think he did really good. I think that Latimer is pretty rhetorically proficient. Like, he's not an easy setup, right? He's not like a fall guy or anything, but I think that he's kind of hounded by the fact that he's kind of racist. He gives off kind of racist vibes a little bit.
Right. Yeah, he seems like a Democratic candidate from, I don't know, like 60, 70 years ago, honestly. Like, if he feels completely like the way he talks, the words he uses, his rhetoric feels very outdated, to say the least.
I remember, did you see the first? Okay, well, no,
real yikesy aura from the Latimer guy.
100%.
Real yikesy.
Also, not your country. Thank you for respecting the boundaries.
I'm doing some foreign election interference.
America's a closed culture.
Yeah.
There was this really persistent. I remember this so much stronger than anything else that happened in the debate, where Bowman would get like a few jabs in. And in response, Latimer got like angry. Like, he would talk for 1 second over, and Latimer would be like, mods, like a moderator, that counts as his time or whatever. Like, you're gonna interject me. And I don't know.
Yeah, Nominal Naomi's on this one. Fucking trans breastfeed. Let's speed this up, because these are gonna be boring, I get the feeling.
It's just like, to me, it just sounded like he was saying the Bowman was uppity a little bit. It just is this like passionate, don't you dare speak over me business.
It doesn't even just seem that way, nor is it something that he's only reserving for his opponent, Jamal Bowman. George Latimer, there was that that radio interview on WNYC that he did that went a little bit viral online, where a caller called into the show and put George Latimer on the spot about his Emmett Till Facebook comment, where he compared Andrew Cuomo to Emmett Till, basically said those women who accused Andrew Cuomo of assaulting them, basically put Cuomo through what
a Till-esque ordeal.
Yes, where he was lynched like Emmett Till was, practically. That's what he said. And he was called out for that on the radio, and the woman who called in wanted him to respond to that. And she also added this addendum where, and don't say it's, you can't be racist because you have black friends, because you constantly say that, which he does. Whenever it's brought up about George Latimer's black support and his...
Holy fuck, no one cares, Matt Bender. No one cares.
Being pro-Palestinian made him like vulnerable for AIPAC money being dumped into his opposition. They clearly wanted to just cut down like a Justice Dem. This would be the first time that a Justice Dem would be ousted in a primary, if that happens. So
support Biden's parts of Biden's agenda. You do have to question why Republicans, big Republican donors, are putting so much money behind him. What do they see in George Latimer?
They see a do-nothing candidate, like cinema, like Manchin, like that's the last thing we need in this country right now. Like a deadlocked Congress at best is what we're going to get with Latimer.
Even if you know George Latimer, even if you're someone out there who's like, I live in Westchester, I'm familiar with who he is, he hasn't done anything to wrong me or whatever. He's just like...
This thing is so gross.
42 or 43. So it would be insane if they pull this off. It looks like they can pull it off. And there's a potential that it might be due to a Trump curse.
We're going to take a 2-minute break. Oh, sure. Is it already a break?
We're going to take a 2-minute break right now, and then we're going to do like one-on-one Vaush, and then each of you guys.
Okay. Oh, gotcha.
Sounds good.
Let's know everything I said. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Oh, I thought the mics were cut. I haven't had my coffee yet. So what I was told that I'm relaying to you guys is that there's going to be a brief break, but after it, I'll be here. And I'll be...
Holy fuck. Alright, let's watch Vaush and Jreg. Maybe that'll be worth watching. In fact, let's see the last couple seconds here and watch one.
Here too, just partition. But I'll always be here.
Okay. Why the exaggerated noise when you finish sipping? Why? Vaush, why?
Thank you for matching energy. Chad, this
Dude, what an autistic fucking weirdo.
is huge. I was given a cappuccino.
Jreg just...
What do you have again?
I have black tea.
Jabbing it.
Black tea. Like English breakfast. Starbucks?
No, I'm just trying to think. Is it black like the way tea would be Earl Grey? Is it like a type of tea, or is it a way you make the tea? What makes tea black? Does that mean like nothing in it, the way black coffee is?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Dude, what a retard. Well, obviously, what? What a fucking retard. What is with Vaush? This guy is like an actual fucking alien. I can't take it. Anytime he tries to have a normal interaction, it's like, man.
Wait, what would you put into tea?
Cream? Sugar? It's just the same thing as coffee, really.
I didn't know people did that.
Yeah, it's a lot like coffee, except less caffeine. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not trying to do the American chauvinism thing. I genuinely can't stand
it. It really struck me how American you are when I met you. You're like, I was like, this is what Americans like.
You're wearing a baseball cap. I'm not. Baseball cap referencing an American political figure, as a matter of fact.
Vaush's mic.
True, but this is just me trying to blend in.
Wait, is he wearing a Hillary? God.
Yeah, I like being American.
Yeah,
I hate the country, like it's the big one.
Interesting. How do you square that?
I don't know. Okay, this might be a chauvinist opinion of mine. Because
wow, the tech issues go hard, guys. Seriously, the tech issues go hard. I'm glad that Democratic Party funding is a good place.
Always say, oh, you should live here, whatever. The Netherlands, Spain. And, I mean, I could. But I always feel like in those countries, you hear about the news locally, and it's in American politics or world politics, Yeah. Important stuff happens here. It just feels nice to be at the, center a little bit.
As a Canadian, I didn't know.
Yeah, he's actually, they're cutting his mic for slurs here.
American politics. I just thought
he tried to Solemn
that
Jreg.
Barack Obama guy was my guy or something.
Yeah, literally, it's like, the fucking
American cultural hegemony stretches and hits everyone. Like for China, it's a whole different world, I guess, because they're like China, India, like huge countries like that. But maybe people just like paying attention to America.
It hits everyone, all right. Yeah. My McCullough, he's like a chauvinist, but he's Canadian, but he's chauvinist for you guys. What do you think of a Marabou?
Well, that's all of you. Well, I mean, like all of your far-right pundits end up moving to America to infest our system because we're more amenable to them. Side, of course, is like Canadian liberals.
Go to Canada, right?
The Canadian.
Right. Well, Trump. Canada.
Oh, yeah, that are there, but like the U.S. and they're like kind of the same country. It's not even like Canada bullshit. It's just like they're kind of the same country. You know? Like they're really close.
Country, except they molest you.
Exactly. There's just like a line in the middle, which is the fun zone, and either way, you cross.
I'm down. That coordination. Okay. Yes. Good.
Okay.
What was I going to say? Okay. So if we had to annex you or you annex us, which would you prefer?
I mean, honestly, getting annexed by Canada would probably be a much more like interesting timeline. Like,
yes.
Like whatever had to have happened to have brought it to that point. I am very curious. Like America has fallen and Canada, like Trudeau, 87 years old, I don't know, fucking mobilizes to reunite. Greater Quebec, I suppose. Quebec wants to extend its line of influence all the way from its province down to Louisiana, the other continental French holdout, So naturally the armies must march south.
I wonder, do you have a Quebec hot take? Do you care about that, or?
I hate the Quebecois.
Interesting.
I despise
that. Makes
them.
sense.
Every one of them I've met has been an arrogant piece of shit. Every single one of them. Again, it's not an essentialist thing. I know the French blood carries the arrogance with it, but a lot of it I think is just like anytime you give a privileged, like regional, ethnic minority majority the feeling that they're different from the greater group that they're in, you get this bullshit. In fairness, I feel kind of the same way about Catalonians in Barcelona, in Spain, because they're also like this, we were actually the original inheritors of this area, blah, blah. And it's like, fuck you, you're the same. Spain has been Spain for a while, come on.
Basque Country's fine though, right?
Sure.
Okay, good, and I'm Basque.
All right.
Okay, so you said the center doesn't exist anymore, right? Because you get pulled.
Your whole channel was about how the center doesn't exist anymore. Still is, right?
I don't know. I just do whatever I want.
But there's the message there, right? Like
the center is just a fake, like an optical illusion, because you can't triangulate a point between two sides.
Yeah, and it doesn't exist in the current environment anymore.
No, just to stay in the same spot, you have to sprint. I believe that. But I also need to make up a little story for myself to justify why I'm here, and that story is Jamal Bowman is a cool leftist, and his opponent is a cringe, honky neolib centrist. And that works for me.
Nailed it. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I don't know what a centrist means to like the average person in today, because the idea of centrism has only ever existed for politicians. In real life, ordinary people are lunatics.
Right.
Like ordinary people will have wildly contrasting and mutually exclusive views on issues that you didn't even know people could have hot takes about,
Yeah.
You'll have guys who are like progressive on labor, but then also think that like the police should arrest all illegal immigrants, but they're anti-racist and like march with BLM. You have people like, and they're all over the place. You've got people who deny the moon landing, but they think that what we're doing over at CERN is great. People are crazy.
People who believe in UFOs.
Yeah, people who, I mean, it's a lot of them, or ghosts. It's like 50% of the country believes in ghosts. And like, centrism is like the big tent position you carve out as a politician to try to capture as many crazes as possible. I don't know if you can be a centrist as a regular guy. I think you can just be uninvolved. I think that's the closest you can get.
You can be like apolitical?
Yeah, you can try to be, right? And that's the dream right there, being the griller. But if you're involved, it's over for you. You're going to immediately develop like a hot take in a position, and somebody's going to be like, well, I don't think that's right. And then you're going to defend it. And 3 days later, you're going to be like, I don't know, a revanchist or some kind of lunatic, like single issue voter.
Right. Okay. So you don't think people can like look at the landscape and keep triangulating and like inch left, inch right, inch left, inch right?
I don't know why you'd want to.
Yeah, I mean, me neither, but
that sounds awful.
I feel like I know people who do that, but I don't think I don't know how relevant they are. You got interviewed by P.F. Ewing, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, but like identifies as radical centrist, but that's not
I doubt that personally. But I understand.
I'm pretty sure like Mr. Oil's obviously been reported to the FBI probably hundreds of times. I'm pretty sure he's had an FBI investigation, is he not? I know Destiny did. He's been saying shit about being a pedophile. Well, not even about being a pedophile. He made one song where he called himself a pedophile. But he's been making this edgy content, talking about pedophile shit for ages. And he's not been caught for anything. No evidence. No victims. No charges. Nothing. Ever. Just him saying kind of edgy, off-kilter things that you would hear in a psychology classroom. That's it. And in an age-appropriate relationship for years. Yeah, this is the guy who's like the turbo pedo? Okay.
I think that like people think it's smart, like it makes them smart.
Yeah.
Like, find the balancing. I don't know. It's you have to accept like to a point, right? That all political engagement is kind of fucking cuckoo, and everyone's a crank to some extent, and everyone's trying their best. Well, not everyone's trying their best, but like everyone is fronting that to varying extents, and some people are trying their best, and you have to thread the needle and do the best you can in that environment. I think some people try to make it out like it's a chessboard, and I don't know. It's just like West Wing shit to me, like cringe liberal. With the right heart and the right mind, you can like unite everyone under a cause. No, you can't. No one ever has. When does that ever happen?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not to be negative. I mean, I kind of like the chaos of it a little bit. I think people are interesting. I just think that reductive assessments, lead people to like what you said, moving to stay in the center. What would a centrist have said about Israel and Palestine 1 year ago versus today? Because they would have had to have two very different positions to keep up with.
Yeah. I think that is how it goes. You keep just updating every 5 seconds. It's like it's not a real political position, because if you're in a room with three people and one person says one thing, another person says another thing, you feel the need to like just position yourself between them, so you don't actually stand on anything solidly.
Can I ask you? Okay, wait, I want to ask you this, like just like in a raw sense, like not ideologically but personally. Do you ever feel yourself doing that, where you hear somebody with a take and you don't know if it's right or wrong? It sounds out there, but you don't know. So you think, okay, maybe like that, but a lesser version.
Yeah.
And then you see the other and you think, okay, so somewhere in the middle. And then you end up like defending a take you don't actually know the merits of because it's in the center of two others?
Yeah, I do that all the time. It's fun.
It's easy.
It's fun.
It's easier than...
it gives you clout, and it makes friends. I'm high agreeable. You're disagreeable. That's where we differ.
Yeah, that's why I get in trouble so often.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree though.
Yeah.
With regards to, I guess, like friend making. I mean, that's the point with politicians, right?
Making friends with as many groups as possible to form a coalition to win.
Yeah. Yeah. At least, I don't know, until you do the Fetterman and you like give up on all that and just lose your mind.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
Yeah, I again, Canadian, but I knew Fetterman from he was running against Dr. Oz, and then was a progressive, and then now is like super pro-Israel.
He's been walking back on basically everything. I think that part of
that was like the first domino, the Israel thing, or
yeah, I think part of it is AIPAC money, and I think the larger part of it is that he was always an unstable and angry person, and that has been exacerbated by the stroke.
Okay.
Because he said some wild stuff recently too, like not just I'm not a progressive, but he's been like walking back on everything, like all of his positions are falling in. You know what scares me a little bit? The belief that it's not always grifting when that happens, and people are just naturally crazy. Because to me, the grifting thing, that's like me imposing order on the universe.
Yeah.
The reason people do this is because, like they were paid off, or like there was an incentive.
Yeah, I agree. I think the grifting allegation is overplayed for sure. Yeah.
Sometimes people are just kind of wacky.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes people... sometimes people grift in a way where it's not actually financially beneficial for them sometimes, and then they're still called grifters. Yeah. Where's all this money coming from against Jamal?
Well, AIPAC has a bunch of like super wealthy donors. Most of them are like, I don't know if I can say most of them, because in America, of course, it's all dark money, right? Like a lot of this stuff doesn't get, you know, de-anonymized, but they're like Christian evangelicals, business moguls, that
Interesting.
kind of thing.
Dark money, huh? Huh?
AIPAC's usually gone after left-leaning candidates, so the excuse is always the Israel thing. In practice, they just get conservatives in, you know?
Okay.
Or at most moderate liberals when the other like option would be a very progressive liberal.
Okay.
It's kind of scary. I don't know.
And do they, like, are they pushing right as far as they can, or are they more of like a status quo, maintain the order?
They're pushing pretty far right.
Yeah?
They've gotten some Jan 6 people.
Okay.
They've pushed for. I think that Latimer is about as far right as they could go here with any chance of him winning. Like that was the...
Right, this is fucking boring. Let's go to... Okay, let's try this one with Nominal Naomi. Let's see what they talk about.
Hello.
Howdy.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Glad to be out here. This has been amazing so far.
Yeah, no kidding. I got my coffee. I feel great.
Yeah, there you go.
So reintroduce yourself to the idiots in the audience.
Yeah,
and people
hi.
who recently arrived.
I'm Naomi. I go by Nominal Naomi on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok. I mostly talk about a lot of queer issues and finally getting out doing some politics in person, which is super important. Like all the stuff we do online, I feel like kind of translating that in-person engagement, going out, doing something with it, touching grass, meeting friends. This is huge, and it's amazing for you and for the movement.
Yeah, there were a bunch of people in here before they all cleared out for canvassing. Right now, they're busting their asses on the street in the heat. We're in here. I wouldn't say this room is very well air-conditioned, though, so we are still suffering a little bit in solidarity.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I've been wiping sweat off my brow, like, you know, every 3 minutes. I wanted to ask, by the way, I'm delighted to speak to you in something of a publicized capacity, because I wanted to ask, and let me know if you don't want to talk about it, by the way.
Go for it.
The hot water you were in a little while ago. See, I wanted to talk to you about it, like when it was happening, but I know my involvement in any kind of public drama is just a multiply. It's a force multiplier that so usually I try to not, because I don't want to, you know, but like you made a lot of people really angry for being completely correct.
Yeah, I was genuinely amazed at like how much outrage, like death threats, people trying to dox me, like all of these people trying to attack me for like doing a traditional family thing within like a queer existence.
Do you want to explain what it was?
Yeah.
Okay, for the idiots in the audience and people who weren't.
For those that aren't like caught up on the situation, I went viral a couple months back because I am a trans woman and I breastfed my child, worked with my doctors to be able to induce lactation, which trans women can do, by the way, in case people didn't know.
They're advertising it at the PV event. At the canvassing event, you're talking on a stage, on a stream, about your Trilk. Why?
People who weren't.
For those that aren't like caught up on the situation, I went viral a couple months back, like, doing a traditional family thing.
So usually I try to not, because I don't want to, you know, but like you made a lot of people really angry for being completely correct.
Yeah, I was genuinely amazed at like how much outrage, like death threats, people trying to dox me, like all of these people trying to attack me for like doing a traditional family thing within like a queer existence.
Do you want to explain what it was?
Yeah.
Okay, for the idiots in the audience and people who weren't.
For those that aren't like caught up on the situation, I went viral a couple months back because I am a trans woman and I breastfed my child, worked with my doctors to be able to induce lactation, which trans women can do, by the way, in case people didn't know. And I talked about it online, talked about like, you know, all of like the studies we have behind this, how like we're kind of like figuring this out within the medical community, medical research, and conservatives just lost their minds about it. I had an episode about me on the Matt Walsh show, on the Tim Pool show, and just like fighting for my life, trying to...
And not just conservatives too, a lot of the weird like non-specific discomfort of so-called progressives who were like, and like what...
Wait, did he actually cut... Oh, fuck. Apparently, Vaush actually covered the trans breast milk at one point. I'm just trying to find information on this. Why can I not get this? Right,
And to be honest,
right, that's fucking Annika Sporian. What? Where's the fucking link, dog? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, wait, we might have this. Okay, this is... We're about to do some Trilk research, guys. The Trilk research is back on.
All right. This was something that I wasn't initially interested in covering, but it's blown up so much that I feel I basically have no choice. Now, the reason why I didn't want to cover it is very personal, and by personal, I mean... by personal, I mean... Alright, this is going to sound very juvenile, but I guess I have to be out with it, okay? I don't like, just conceptually, I don't like breast milk. I just don't. I just don't. It has nothing to do with gender or sex or anything in the universe. I just don't. It's one of those, it's like a squick thing, you know what I mean? Like I can't stand seeing people drooling. I just, you know, it's just a totally irrational, there's nothing structural or political about it.
This is like an autism thing, isn't it?
But it's just a completely, she's here, so she'll yuck it up. So I was thinking, you know, okay, well, I really don't want to talk about this, just pure selfishly. I just don't want to talk about this because I'll have to show images on my screen and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, it got so big. Okay, great. So there's this person called Nominal Naomi. Naomi? It's got to be Naomi because Naomi sounds dumb. Unless it is Naomi, in which case the other one sounds dumb. Nobody corrected me audibly. Me? Name of a kid. You're gonna hey, in your father's will. About penis is basically just flipped up inside out loop-de-loop vagina. That's true. There's charts online you can look at. I don't know if YouTube would care for me to do in the specifics. Why do you think that I have nipples, right? There's a biological analogy at play there. So it turns out that if you're a trans chick, this can happen to cis guys too, by the way, based on some various hormonal stuff. But if you're a trans chick, you take estrogen, you can actually make breast milk because the parts necessary to make breast milk are present in basically all humans. You know, they just need to be sort of activated by the engine that is estrogen. So wild stuff, right? So anyway, Naomi, my good friend Naomi, whose name I've always known how to pronounce, right? Got in a bit of hot water. See, Naomi does, as is the case with all trans women, OnlyFans content, and also has a child to whom she breastfeeds. Now, given the current discourse vis-a-vis trans women, I'm sure you can see exactly where this went, but post-millennial article. What is this transgendered doing, grooming this child with breast milk? So a lot of them, this is like a thing. They're like, what is it in that little bottle over there? What is that? Is that pus? Seen people unironically say this. Is that cum? I'm not kidding. I saw one person on Twitter being like, with you holding up a bottle of white milky substance, what do you think people are going to expect? Like they can't visually tell the difference between imaginable grooming accusation. There are people saying that Naomi has her kid to tell.
Okay, what I want is
him for science on trans women's breast milk. It's the same thing, guys. It's the same milk. It's exactly the same. In fact, I think one of these studies actually says that it might actually be more nutritionally valuable than cis women's milk. Where does it say that? Anatomic function identically. No adverse effects.
I thought they did like a test and did like a profile of their actual milk. This is something I've heard floated around. I'm desperate to find. Oh man, it's so annoying. I could have sworn she posted this. I cannot find a fucking archive of it. The only two pages I saw was on her Twitter, no Zinc Analytics. Was there... Did it have a test of her Trilk? Was there a test of her Trilk? Can we find that? How do I find that? Ah, here we go. To add to scientific understanding of lactation in trans women, I had my breast milk analyzed by a lab, and here's the results. All macro and micronutrients within the normal range of breast milk produced by lactating cis women. Wait, but this is macro and micronutrients, is it not? Are we not supposed to be able to see more here? This doesn't feel like the full test. There's another page. Okay. So, Pathos, are you saying there should be more results than this, even, from a test? You'd expect other micronutrient results. When was this posted? July. Presumably she got these from a doctor. Why post them if the doctor said there was an issue with it? Well, she got it from Lactation Lab. I don't know quite if that's a doctor at all. I don't know if there's doctors that work there, if it's just people who administer tests on breast milk. It's a website called Lactation Lab. But no, I don't think it's a doctor. And second of all, we don't know that we've been given the full results here. So still, jury's still kind of out on that.
What are they aiming about? No one knows. To this day, nobody knows. But like a vibes thing.
Yeah.
I like this. Well, no, I hated the harassment you got. I liked it as an example because so much of the trans argument, people talk about biology or whatever, which to me, frankly, in most cases is tangential to the broader issue of like identity and like epistemology of the words we use.
And that's not even to like mention how much they get wrong about like trans bodies and how much your biology is affected by hormones and stuff.
Yeah, they fail on every count.
Every count.
And on this count specifically, I mean, I was reading people who...
Front page doesn't say the testing. Okay, well, I don't know what... like I say, I'm relying on second-hand information because I don't have a full test. But apparently there was something posted at some point that had more results than that. So I'm still searching. Going to be running through threads, probably, looking for it. We never find anything, but that's just what I've heard.
Who are like, well, actually, when trans women lactate, it's actually like magma. There was like what, like insane, wild shit, and it's just a reminder, I guess, that like it is a spirit thing to a lot of these people because on the biology, even if you have them cornered on that, they will make up a new reality like entirely. You could like it could be like you press a button and your body like to the chromosomal level transforms, and they'd still be like, sorry, no. Male soul or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to remember that because it invalidates everything they have to say. They have no ground in that argument.
Absolutely. And it's just like it's so weird just seeing how like what a different lens people are going to interpret the exact same action on if like a cis woman versus a trans woman engages in the exact same behavior, the exact same situation.
Even Vaush is looking uncomfortable. Look at him. He's proper.
Just seeing how like what a different lens people are going to interpret the exact same action on if like a cis woman versus a trans woman engages in the exact same behavior, the exact same situation, and like the frame that people looks at that through, like it really highlights like how much we have this kind of like implicit conditioning to view trans women like as inherently different, disgusting compared to like cis women.
Yeah, I think that overall things have gotten better, like, because this happens every time a progressive cause happens, right? You have like trans people invented in 2012 or whatever.
Yeah.
2015, Caitlyn Jenner, the first transgender, whatever, right? And you have the upswing in 2019 and 2018. You have like Vogue covers or whatever. It's like it's broadly celebrated, and now we're in the reactionary.
Does she realize that maybe people just see her as disgusting? Maybe it's not. It's encoded to see trans people discuss it. Maybe it's specific ones, especially ones that look like this and dress like this and feed their kids their trans breast milk.
Just seeing how like what a different lens people are going to interpret the exact same action on if like a cis woman versus a trans woman engages in the exact same behavior, the exact same situation, and like the frame that people looks at that through, like it really highlights like how much we have this kind of like implicit conditioning to view trans women like as inherently different, disgusting compared to like cis women.
Yeah, I think that overall things have gotten better, like, because this happens every time a progressive cause happens, right? You have like trans people invented in 2012 or whatever.
Yeah.
2015, Caitlyn Jenner, the first transgender, whatever, right? And you have the upswing in 2019 and 2018. You have like Vogue covers or whatever. It's like it's broadly celebrated, and now we're in the reactionary backlash. But I think, as bad as the negative attention has gotten, I still think that like your median American 11-year-old probably has a middle school friend who's non-binary these days.
Yeah, especially looking at the younger generations, like Gen Z especially.
What a horrifying thought.
Actually, I mean, one of the things that was really telling for me is like you've seen all these like local school district hearings, congressional hearings about these anti-trans bills, and like all of the people that are coming out to attack trans rights
They're 70.
Yeah, these boomers, these old people, like these brain-rotted, like dying, decaying boomers, and then like on the pro side, like you have all the like exclusively young people, and so like it really.
This is just delusion. Yeah, all the kids are really pro-trans. No, not all young people are really pro-trans. I don't think that's true at all. I don't think that's true at all.
It just shows how much we're moving forward, like
it's not my experience
as a culture, as a society. The next generation, like once we're, you know, what's been established, like it's going to be a much better place for trans rights.
It's crazy too, because you know half of these boomer fucks who show up to the committee meetings now, back in like the Vietnam War, they were like, you know, I hear if you go to Thailand, you can see a lady with a wang, and they're, wow, some like 7-time photocopied image of one or whatever they keep in their like wallet on their purse. Like, I just like, it's, I don't know, the fetishism along with the demonization has always been like, it's like kind of a back and forth thing, I guess. So.
I mean, that's just women though, right?
That's pretty true. That's true. There you go. I mean, there's the evidence. I think, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm pretty.
Okay, it's just so weird when trans women make statements on what women are like that. But dude, this is so gross.
It was nothing. It was a nothing poll, but it led to like I think it's led to a persistent belief that the backlash has begun, and young people are all Andrew Tate watching, like Nick
This is just so gross to watch, man.
Oh, that's like that kind of methodology has been so common in a lot of these studies, or like studies that have been tried to use to disparage.
They're worthless.
Yeah, no, like where they will spread them amongst themselves within these like really radical communities, and like you just have an insane sampling bias that the study is completely meaningless. Like who wants to answer the study about, you know, radicalization? Like young neo-Nazis do, like, and they're the ones that flock to this kind of this poll.
If you have a poll like surveying people's opinions on transgender, obviously transphobes are more likely to click on it because they want to like, angrily type out.
Wow, amazing points being presented here. Thank you. I don't think I can watch any more of that.